I would like today to make a friendly chit chat about the things that I learned throughout my journey of minimalism, which is about 5 years now, I guess. And I think there are some valuable insights that I understood and I am ready to share with you right now. So let's start with the first point that I would like to say that I realized is that you are not always a minimalist. Even when you are a minimalist, you are not always a minimalist. Because there are certain areas in your life where you do not want to think twice in order to order something or purchase something. There are areas where you really like to accumulate things. It's maybe your hobbies or kids stuff. If you're a minimalist, it doesn't mean that this one mindset should be implemented in every single area of your life, because it doesn't have to. You may be a minimalist in 90% of your life areas, but there are also areas in your life when or where you probably just don't want to think about it much. You don't want to ask yourself questions before you buy stuff, or you don't want to even think of decluttering something from this area. And I may give you an example of my situation, which is plants. The thing is, I don't think about it this much. I don't declutter my plants because I just simply can't bear the idea of leaving a plant outside in -3 by Celsius. It's just not what I like, and I don't want to give it away to somewhere. I just deal with the clutter in this area of my life, and I enjoy this clutter in this area of my life. Yes, I'm not a minimalist in some areas. In some periods of life, I'm not a minimalist at all. I really don't think about it. I'm not in the mood of decluttering in, for example, these several months. I'm really in the mood of shopping and buying new clothes. And this is something that also can happen in the life of a minimalist. These periods when you are not a minimalist, and that's okay. When you accumulate stuff, when you decide that you don't want to think about whether or not you need it, whether it brings value or joy, whether it's a sentimental item or a functional item, you simply want to be and leave and buy if you can. And yeah, it doesn't mean that you are unintentional, I'd say, but you intentionally sometimes don't want to be a minimalist. I am happy with what I have right now. And I am happy with not overthinking whether or not I should buy something. If it's in my wish list, I just buy it. It's not because it has to be in the wish list. It's just I've got the habit of putting everything I want in the wish list. And I don't really want right now to overthink the valuability of something I want to purchase. I don't really want to spend time on decluttering. This is okay. When you're happy with your minimalist setup of your house, of your belongings, you may want to switch your focus towards something mental, not physical. Because I feel like minimalism is sometimes more about the physical than about mental and spiritual. And that is true. Basically, if you find the definition of minimalist somewhere in the Wikipedia, you realize that the majority of these scholars tell about living with less. Let's be honest, like 95% of this means that we've got to live with less material things. And it is right, it gives a lot of peace, it reduces stress, it allows to spend less time on cleaning, and this is so good. I really appreciate me in the past that decided to become a minimalist. What I want to say is that when you are happy with this all, you really don't want to think for a certain period of time about decluttering, about thinking about the valuability of stuff, about purchasing something or not purchasing something. Like, you focus. Why focus? It's focus, right? You focus more on the mental things, on things that bring you happiness outside of materialistic world. About relationships, about mindfulness and how you can be more in the present moment, be still, spend more time with the people you like and you love, and how you can contribute to this world, how you can learn and what you can learn. So it's like shifting my focus a little bit out from that narrative of minimalism and being more about mental things. I don't even know if this makes sense, when I speak about it. Let me know in the comments if you understand what I'm talking about. And I feel like other people experience it too. But it feels like nobody tells about it. It's like you're a constant minimalist, which you sometimes are not. And decluttering. It's the third thing I'd like to talk about. And many people say that they don't regret about what they decluttered. I kind of can relate to that. I really don't think about things that I decluttered. Maybe once in a decade I realized that, oh, I threw it away, but I actually need it. But it's not the regret. Regret is that when you realize that if you turned back to the time, you would change it. But recently I realized that I am sometimes too cruel about the decluttering and living with less and getting rid of stuff in my life. I realized that I do not have a photo album that would show me what I was like when I was 5, when I was a child. I only have photos, and only digital ones, from the period of my life when I was like 14. And I don't really have the memories or photos or anything that would tell me about me or about my family, about this period of my life when I was a child. And maybe I didn't think about it that much because I remember a lot from my childhood, and I remember I was an absolutely happy kid, and it feels like I don't need those memories. But sometimes, memories, I mean the photos, but sometimes you realize that you are reaching this stage of your life when the important thing is not only what happens in future, because when you're in your 20s or early 20s, you realize you've got the whole life before you, and you don't even get to think about what was in the past. You don't think about capturing moments, because this seems unimportant, because your life is somewhere there in the future. But at some point, I realized that, oh, it's important for me to capture memories. Who is that? Who are you and what did you do with Vika? And I realized that I want to make photos on different celebrations, and I realized that I want to get those photo albums of my childhood, and I want to remember that. I want to have this somewhere in the storage to maybe once in a while remind me of who I was and what life I had, because at this point I realized that past also matters and memories matter. Not only what will happen in the future, but also what happened already. With that like all cruel and violent decluttering, I realized that some things like my scripts for videos, for past videos, I deleted all the scripts of my past videos, realizing that that's from the past, I don't really need it. But honestly, this is like a valuable thing that cannot be returned. I will never be able to write down my thoughts the way I wrote them down back then. And also with those scripts and a lot of articles I wrote in the past that I already deleted, I cannot reuse them, you know? Because when you're a content creator, making constantly the new content can be exhausting, so you sometimes reuse your content. And I realized that I deleted the big bunch of my career that will never be returned back. And this is one thing that I think I truly regret about. If I could turn back in time, I would probably return. If I could return back in time, I would probably leave all those scripts that I wrote in my early stages of being a YouTuber. Okay, these were the things that I've been thinking about recently. Maybe you find that you can relate to some of them. Leave me your thoughts in the comments about all of that. Does it make sense? Does it make sense for you and your life and your minimalism journey or not? Go check my Patreon page if you'd like to support my work. On March the 1st, exclusively for Patreon, I make the Get Your Sleep Back sprint. In case you are looking for establishing healthy sleep hygiene, getting a better and longer sleep, pay attention to this program. Maybe this is something that you need right now. The link will be in the description. Have the most wonderful day. Goodbye.